Hi, this is Lynn from FromOurBookshelf.com, and today I wanted to give a brief review on the nonfiction book Tree Thieves. This is a true crime book, and I love true crime, but I do not like true crime that has a lot of murder and graphic, gory details. So this was a true crime book that was perfect for me for multiple reasons. This book is about tree theft on the West Coast, mainly in California. It covers a little bit of Canada, Northern Washington, and Oregon. But I grew up in a small logging town in the far northwest corner of Oregon, where logging is, the time I grew up, was the main industry. So I knew about theft, like where people would steal, like firewood and things like that. I had no idea stealing old growth trees, especially old growth trees, to use for making expensive tables and instruments and other things was an issue, and the lengths that people go to steal old growth trees. So this was a book that although I know a lot about logging, I did not know about the Tree Thieves. So this book was fascinating to me. I'm not sure it's a book everyone would enjoy. I thought it was well written. It took you to the Pacific Coast and made you feel like you were there in the forest. Like I said, I grew up in logging community in the middle of the forest, and so it felt like I was there again. I loved the descriptions, the setting, and the place she took you. I thought she did a pretty balanced view of the problems in the logging industry, as well as talking about the loggers and some of the things that they deal with in these small logging towns, as the logging industry has gone down in the last like 30 to 40 years. And a lot of the small logging towns now have high drug use, high crime, and there's a lot of problems that has gone into people that have been loggers for 3 and 4 generations losing their livelihood and unsure of how to change what they do after being in the logging industry for so long. So I thought she did a fairly balanced view of that. Like I said, I loved it. I thought it was fascinating, the true crime angle. I did think that she could have done better at dealing with the fact that logging is one of the most dangerous jobs in the US. I think it's up in the top 5, and that the men, at least because I know so many loggers, because like I said, I still have family that live in the small logging town I grew up in, and the loggers, yes, there are some, like any industry, who are not honest and who take advantage of the system and do not care about the logging industry or the woods. They're just in it for the money. But there is also a huge amount of loggers who are extremely hardworking, and they care about the woods. They care about the future, and they live in the woods. They live in the work in the woods because they love being outdoors. They love hunting in the woods, and they want to preserve the woods for future generations. And they want to log in a responsible, caring way. And I think she could have done a better job of presenting that side of the story. Because that's the reality of it. Like, I know some of the men and families that have worked in the woods for years, and so she could have handled that better. I think also she could have gone into more detail. She covered it a little bit on the fact that the people making the laws that is restricting logging over the last 30 or 40 years are some of the same people that are buying the trees and the wood that is stolen from the forest. And I say that because wood is all around us. We need wood. We can't totally do away with logging because we need wood for certain things. Not everything can be recycled. And a lot of these old growth trees are stolen, and the wood is sold for like super expensive tables and like dining room tables made out of this old growth, and end tables and fancy furniture and bowls. And also instruments, like really expensive instruments, are made out of, like guitars and other wood instruments are made out of the wood. And the reality is the average person can't buy that. That's wealthy people in America and overseas. And so that kind of compounds the problem. It's kind of a cycle that it's hard to break. And I thought she did cover that a little bit, but I wish she would have gone into a little bit more detail. However, I still think this book is well worth reading for those that like true crime that isn't graphic and gory, those that like books about the environment or science, or that just want something, love nonfiction and want something a little different to read. I feel like this book did not get the attention it deserves. It was published in 2022, and I really have seen it nowhere else. Like, I haven't seen anybody else talking about this book. So highly recommend it. Tree Thieves. For more book reviews, check out FromOurBookshelf.com.